I'm here, as a leader, but on the court as well, to create open shots, to create my own shot, and to help this team win.
Los Angeles Lakers have made some remarkable additions this offseason. In an offseason that we expected the Lakers to be extremely limited in retooling and potentially making their team even better, somehow Rob Pelinka was able to take last year's 2020 NBA champions and somehow, some way, make them even deeper. Think about it, man. Rob Pelinka was able to trade away Danny Green, sign Wesley Matthews for a fraction of the cost, who pretty much on paper has the same production as Danny Green, re-sign Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on a 3-year, $40 million deal, which is a fantastic value, and bring in Marc Gasol, who can still direct the defense and is a 39% three-point shooter. But in addition to that, he was able to acquire Dennis Schroder and Montrezl Harrell, who each averaged over 18 points per game off the bench last year. But you see, that's the problem. Dennis Schroder was introduced yesterday, and well, he had some thoughts about potentially coming off of the bench again. Now, before we get to the content, guys, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. I am on the daily upload grind this entire month for you guys, so all I'm asking in return is to just leave a like so you guys can see my content. On top of that, we released our first career simulation on LaMelo Ball on my gaming channel, TheFlightMike TV. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, man, so I'm going to leave a link to that at the end screen of this video as well. If you want to go the extra mile to further support us, we release channel memberships, which is the top link in the description down below, and be sure to check us out on Instagram as well. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. So if you watched any sports talk radio or any sports-based show early this morning, you would notice that Dennis Schroder is getting criticized, crucified, and absolutely obliterated by the media for a specific thing he said during his introductory presser. Now, before we jump into the analysis of what Dennis Schroder said, I think it's only fair for me to show you the clip that everyone's losing their mind over, because apparently people take this as a slight at LeBron, at the fact that Dennis Schroder doesn't want to be a sixth man anymore. Rather, he wants to be the starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I'm going to let the footage roll, and then I'm going to give you my interpretation of it.
You also give them great flexibility because, according to reports, you can go anywhere from being a starter to first person off the bench, which gives them great flexibility.
Yeah, I did this off the bench stuff already, 2 years with OKC. I think I try to move forward, and I think with AD and LeBron, I can be helpful, I think, as a starter in the PG position that LeBron, don't have so much stuff in his mind and can be, just I can bring it up, call a set play, whatever, and put him in a position to score, I think to him to play off the court and off the ball, it's I think great, and I think that's the reason why they brought me in, and I think we're going to fit perfectly with LeBron, AD, Caldwell-Pope is there, Wesley Matthews, Harrell. I think we all fit together, and we're looking forward to it.
Have you had conversations with the coaching staff about that? Has that been kind of presented to you as what your role is going to be? And I just wanted to ask about this little viral moment last season. I believe LeBron, you and him were lined up at the three-point line, I think on a free throw situation. He kind of gave you a hug. If you could just describe what that moment was about.
The first question, I think my agent, talked to the organization before they was trading me. So just that.
Every piece of analysis that I've seen about this topic up until this point has been a tremendous over-exaggeration of what Dennis Schroder said. And on one hand, I believe this is Dennis Schroder's fault because, well, if you say that in OKC, it's not a big deal. But when you say that when you're on the Los Angeles Lakers and you're playing next to the most marketable player in the face of the NBA in LeBron James, the media is going to do whatever it can to distort what you say and use your words against you so they could create a narrative that many people would begin to be interested in. I'll tell you what I believe that Dennis Schroder is saying, and I'll tell you what the media is trying to tell you that Dennis Schroder is saying. The media is telling you that Dennis Schroder no longer wants to come off of the bench. He wants to start. He wants to be the guy. He wants the offense to flow through him, and he wants LeBron James to play off of him. And if you actually believe that Dennis Schroder is coming in to do that, then that's absolutely bizarre. That doesn't make any logical sense. I don't think that's even possible. How could you even make such a request of LeBron? I'll tell you what I think Dennis Schroder is saying, though. I feel like Dennis Schroder is saying that, hey, I would like to start, ideally. I believe I do have the skill set to start should they need me to start, which I believe there's going to be some games where Dennis Schroder gets the start. I believe there's going to be some games where KCP gets the start. I feel like they will definitely experiment with Dennis Schroder in the starting lineup, and if it doesn't work out, they'll bring him off the bench. I don't think anything is set in stone right now, and I don't think you could commit to such a thing until you get some lineups and rotations going through the season and see what starting five works the best for the Los Angeles Lakers. In terms of Dennis Schroder's skill set, I don't think that he's asking LeBron James to play off of the ball to him, because if you look at Dennis Schroder's statistics, he's not necessarily known for his abilities for creating plays. For the most part, we all assume that Dennis Schroder has come in to replace Rajon Rondo. Am I correct? Well, if you look at Rajon Rondo, last year for the Los Angeles Lakers, he averaged 5 assists per game. And throughout his career, he averaged 8.3 assists per game. When you compare that to Dennis Schroder, and bear in mind, Rajon Rondo has like 7 extra seasons on Dennis Schroder, you'll come to find that they're completely different players. Dennis Schroder, for his career, averaged about 4 assists per game. He dished 4 assists per game last year for the OKC Thunder. As a matter of fact, if anything, he's kind of like an inverse Rajon Rondo because he was able to pour on 19 points per game last year off of an extremely efficient 47% from the field, converting 39% of his threes as well. This isn't the type of player that wants to bring the ball up court and create plays for his teammates. No, I think what he's trying to say here is that he would like to be a starter, which makes sense because, by the way, this is the final year of his contract. So he's going to try to do whatever he can to cash in and get himself a big deal. He's playing in a large market now, which is the Los Angeles Lakers. If you're the starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, which, by the way, a starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers is essentially an additional shooting guard, because although LeBron James technically plays the small forward position, he's technically running the point guard position. And since he's an oversized point guard, he's 6'9", essentially the Lakers could get away with having 2 shooting guards or 2 good scorers playing off of LeBron James. And that's what they've always done. Last year, you'd see lineups that featured Avery Bradley and Danny Green in the starting 5, or Avery Bradley and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Danny Green. You get my drift here. So what Dennis Schroder is trying to say isn't necessarily, hey, I'm coming after LeBron's job. I want to start and I want to be the go-to playmaker. He's saying, I want to start, ideally. I believe my agent told me that I will start because, of course, he needs to cash in this summer. This is his final opportunity for a big payday because he's 27 years old and he's coming off of one of the most productive seasons of his career. He doesn't want to get relegated to bench duty. He wants to start so he could prove that he is a it player in the league that deserves a big contract. And when he says that he doesn't mind setting up the play, I believe he's saying that he is going to do anything that is asked of him. Not necessarily that he wants to be the guy and he wants LeBron James to play off of him, more so that if LeBron James needs a breather, then he is willing to take that role and he will not feel the pressure of doing so.